everybody, here we are with another Friday and we're in the big outdoors. It's flipping freezing, but it's not that cold. It is October, yeah. The forecast today was bright and sunny all day. Getting on for 12 o'clock, still waiting. Well, what will be. Right, our garden's making a bit of a revival this late in the year. Can't make it out. Pauline's million bells are looking best they've looked for a while, and we've even got a clematis here that flowered once early on in the year and now doing another effort. Most welcome, but very odd. Never mind, such are things. Now, if you are new to the channel and you want to see Raglan, then just advance forward for 15 minutes or so, and it's tacked on the end of our comments bit, or any other business comments bit. The comments are the valuable part of the whole film, I reckon. You learn lots, and the occasional laugh along the way. People driving up and down the road, you've got to put up with that out here. Don't get that in the studio. Actually you do, but never mind. Right, so now let's get on to matters arising, I suppose. Lionel has handed in his driving licence, and he received a few comments, congratulatory comments on that, Lionel. Well done to you. But of course, now Lionel's now had Mary in hospital. Lionel and Mary Travels now had Mary in hospital, so he's had to jump on the bus, and that's an early test of Lionel's resolve, isn't it? Crikey. So as soon as you hand his licence in, Mary gets admitted. But she's out now and getting better, so come on Mary, you can do it, girl. Keep going, keep trying. We're all behind you here. Well done. One of the people that supported Lionel, that's Paul from West Country Wanderings, you know, our Paul and his lovely channel. He said, I can relate to Lionel handing his licence in. He said, I hate driving these days and the roads are increasingly dangerous. I've got to agree. It's increasingly dangerous. I'm spluttering a bit here. Oh no, I haven't got the choke out yet. Increasingly dangerous if I do drive to a filming location. I often feel wiped out through concentration, so I can see me handing my licence in sooner than later, to be honest. He says, I do try to use public transport when I can, but that isn't always easy. It's more like impossible, I think, Paul, in a lot of places. Yeah, you're stuck out in the wilds because you missed the last bus or it didn't turn up or whatever. Yeah. Donnie says, just a thought on giving up your driver's licence. Electric bikes have a range of 60 miles. That's a lot, isn't it? Of 60 miles on one charge, and of course will go much farther depending on how much effort you wish to put in. Yeah, the more effort it gets from you, the less battery it uses. Yeah. So that's a possibility, isn't it? Lionel and Mary. Do they do tandem electric bikes yet? We got bugs here everywhere at the moment. I went out to the Severn Valley Railway yesterday. In front of my car looks like it's been through a snowstorm. Don't know what it is, little midges everywhere. Ugh. David from Spain says, morning Ron. Well done and best wishes to Lionel. There's another one, Lionel, lining up. Well, this is the family bit of Parkinson's walks, isn't it really? We like to think of ourselves as a family, and if you add comments in our comment section, you become part of the family. It's very easy to do. So David says, best wishes to Lionel for being proactive on withdrawing his driving licence. We are at this point with my father, who's had problems with his sight and more recently the onset of old age. Difficult time, I have to say. We did get to wish him a happy 87th birthday last Saturday. 87. Keep going, Dad. Talking about the film 2 weeks ago, this was the bit tacked on the last vlog, which was a transition into old Cornwall. Push off, Nat. You probably can't see it from there. I keep getting these things floating. Yeah, which was a transition into Cornwall as it might have been, filmed in monochrome or black and white, whatever you want to call it. Right, so David says, I love the transition into black and white on the video, and the first scenes of the church made me think of the start of the 1956 film Moby Dick with Orson Welles. And just when I thought it couldn't get any more nostalgic, along came the treasures. What the treasures going to do with it? Good old David. Jim Nichols. We learn a bit about Jim now. Jim manufactures and flies kites. He gets all sorts into the air and all sorts of weather. Brilliant. The thing I like about Jim's channel and his films is he's always got appropriate music with it. Yeah, it's a lovely watch. Click on Jim's avatar and go and have a look at some of his kite flying episodes. Well worth the effort. But anyway, we find out a bit more about our Jim now. Because he says, the black and white photos reminded me of when I first became a newspaper photographer at the beginning of the 1960s. Oh, Jim was a newspaper photographer. Well, I'm blowed. He said at that time it was all the newspapers could print, but a few years later I worked for the first newspaper to print colour photographs. Hard to believe that newspapers have almost gone now, with all the online news sources taking over. Can't remember the last time I bought a newspaper. Yeah, they're still printing them. I want it to slowly dry out. I suppose it will die out. I suppose it will. Pete Payne says Cornwall was very atmospheric in black and white. Looks like you had to get up early to film those shots. I guess later it would be quite busy. The turnstone did look a little worried though. So it was a turnstone. Well, we've been seeing those birds down in Cornwall for quite a long time, trying to identify it. I don't think we've ever come up with turnstone, so well done, Pete. I think it looked in the book. I think you've nailed it. Yeah, well done. Poor little old turnstone. Gets a mention later on. Don't worry. Where was I? Michael from Poland. Good old Michael, one of our stalwarts. Greetings from very warm and sunny Poland, he says. It's 9:15 Friday and it's already 21 degrees. What? It says talking of views, sorry Michael, I'm making a pig's ear out of this, aren't I? Talking of views, is Studio 1 able to move? As I'm sure the view through the window changes. Well, I sincerely hope not, Michael. If it's moved at all, it's because it's falling down, I think. That's about all. Oh well. Friday 20, I don't think it's 21 here. It is getting warmer by the minute, so I suppose we could be heading that way. So yeah, looks like we're sharing a little bit of the good weather with you, Michael. Right, James, Canada. Do excuse me. I'm starting to crack up already. I'm going to page one out of the way, yeah? James Weekston from Canada says, sorry for the late comment. We'll let you off this time, James. He says, the weather has been so nice here. I've been out frequently doing you-know-what with you-know-who. I'll be playing ball with Sumac, who's the channel mascot. See, if you're new to this channel, you've got a channel here with a mascot. Not many of those about, I have to say. Now, pride of place on this section then goes to Jim from Tennessee. Grumpy old man Jim. Jim and Emily out there. And we had a little bit of to and fro in, did Jim and I. It says, such a shame you made that pacing bird so frightfully nervous. So I reckon it was a camera shy bird, and I said, hopefully I only inconvenienced him momentarily and he's now not suffering from PTSD. Jim said it would be only right if you would offer to pay for some therapy. So I said, well, I'm going down there early next year. I'll look out for him. He should be easy to spot because he'll be running around in circles. Oh, it's a shame, isn't it? I shouldn't do that, the poor thing. But yes, no, I was only filmed him very briefly. What you saw is what you got. I didn't do anything other than that. So, yeah, he'll be alright. He's well used to people wanting to take his picture, I think. That's what it was. He's fed up. Right. Now then, last week's film was at dusk. We went down there on the recommendation of Connection 500, I think it was. Was that Duncan? Oh, don't let me misplace that. Anyway, we went and had a look around dusk with the station and its tunnel and its bits and pieces. And the goods shed. I've never seen a goods shed in that good a condition. Absolutely brilliant. But there was a little bit of debate about the layout in there, because obviously it's been stripped, it's now a shell. and trying to work out from the bits and pieces which are left inside what was what and what the purpose of it all was. Simon from Engage on a Shelf, I was selling your film the other day, Simon, when I was at the Severn Valley. You were one of the modelling dudes there, so I was selling your channel for you, mate. Simon reckons it was a good shed for loading and unloading wagons under cover. The cutout in the floor was likely a weighing device. Yeah, I think it probably is. We had it down as being a derrick, but a weighing machine sounds more plausible, doesn't it? He said you backed your lorry up under the canopy and loaded or unloaded as appropriate. Yeah, I go along with that. Now, as an aside, Simon's been having a little bit of negotiation about retiring early. And he said, I've got my flexi retirement. Trevor again, is it? Trevor, our resident pilot. I knew he'd be along sooner or later. Is it, Trevor? Bet your life. Anyway, Simon. Okay. Trevor gets to blame for anything with wings on. If it's rotary, he gets without that one, but anything with wings on, Trev gets to blame. Right, should better hear me now. Going back to Simon, Engage on a Shelf and his flexi retirement then, or early retirement. He says, I've got my flexi retirement and I start on a 4-day week from April and a 3-day week the following year, and then I'll be gone, just short of 44 years of service. He says, Suzanne, obviously the good lady, Suzanne is starting to write her list of jobs for me already. Poor old Simon. I mean, she's only got 2 years to get it together. You can't hang about with these things, you know. Well done, Suzanne. You keep him busy. Keep him out of mischief. Right, Trev. We've just been talking about you, Trev, strangely enough. He says, thanks for the excellent film. Once again, you're in my area. I think you're doing a flanking manoeuvre on me from all sides. Yeah, we're closing in on you, Trev. Look out. He says, it's out to the west of me this time with us, and it's a beautiful river, about 20 minutes drive away. Yeah, beautiful place to live. But Trev goes through and it tells us all the details. Oh, is that the sun coming out? Oh, good. Let's try. Trev goes through in all the details of not only of us, but of the railways in the local area and all the bits and pieces round about. Brilliant read. I reckon by studying what Trev's written now, I can find other places that need to be filmed. So I should be doing that. Thank you very much for that, Trev. Now, if you're visiting that particular spot, a station, and it's worth a visit and it's properly accessible, you ought to take Trev's comments with you, copy and paste Trev's comments and take them with you, because you'll then know where to start looking for things in amongst all the vegetation and what have you. Rather than I was just wandering around trying to spot something, you'll know where to look. Yeah, so thanks for that, Trev. Right, Mark Richardson says, a great piece of exploration, revealing some superb railway infrastructure. We love that. Marilyn says, Ron, you didn't give me a chance to get the side-by-side map going, but I did catch up. I do apologise, Marilyn. I don't give you enough time to set it up, do I? I shall have to waffle a bit more at the start. I'll probably waffle enough. But she said she did catch up, and then it was straight in with that magnificent bridge. Wasn't it a special one? Yeah. Marilyn says the tunnel was massive compared to some built in the Forest of Dean. Was it GWR? By massive, I'm assuming you mean the height of it rather than the length. So I don't know. Perhaps it was double track. I wouldn't have thought so though. So anyway, I can't think any other reason why it should be larger than normal, Marilyn. But somebody on here might be able to fill us in. Yeah. And then the goods yard, she said. I was impressed with that. She said it was quite extensive for a small town. That wonderful goods shed. She's talking about the one near the end of the film, that great big thing. And then she adds the the female touch by saying, "Never mind barn conversions, it will make a magnificent home." It'd be more of a palace, I should think, than a home like Marlin. It'd be big, wouldn't it? If you include all the outhouses, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't love to own it. I don't think that's much of a possibility. But yeah, you've got that lovely frontage as well, haven't you? Beautiful home. I wonder, one day somebody, I would think, David, David from Spain again. He says, "Superb explorer, you might have smoked yourself out though. I mean, complaining about the wrong type of leaves, you must have been a BR station announcer." Well, you never know. Our Ron from Abandoned Railways. He said it was a good explorer. He found some absolute gems on this adventure, and the good shed took us right back in time to the days of steam, and some bonus bridges as well. So an enjoyable day out. Yeah, I have to say I did enjoy that one. But Ron has been following the line, the Gloucester-Warwickshire Heritage Railway line. They've got as far as Broadway, and Ron's been following the line from there up towards, well, not strange, I knew that would disappear, Honeybourne, got it, up towards Honeybourne, with his usual dogged persistence. I mean, at the point at which I'm about to give up because I think it's impenetrable, Ron just gets going there. Thorns and goodness knows what else. I think Simon, here we go for Simon, came up with a good point. He always used to take secateurs with him on walks, and so if it got a bit overgrown you could sort of cut your way through part of it. So might be an idea there, Ron. Get yourself a pair of secateurs dangling on your belt. Mind you, I don't think you could get much farther than you do now, to be honest. Michael Miller says, "Thanks for that explore. It was great finding the good shed and the tunnel. Reminds me, oh now, listen carefully to this one, Michael. Reminds me of when I was a school kid on our cross-country run, taking a diversion through Crescent Wood Tunnel on the old Crystal Palace high-level branch at Upper Sydenham. Running through tunnel and across where they made a film of that, didn't they? Yeah, well, I wonder if your exploits there were part of the inspiration for the film then. Sounds likely, Michael, doesn't it? You could be owed some money, mate, couldn't you? You never know. But yeah, wonderful. I don't suppose you ever had a landslip, did you, in the area? That would clinch it. Right, Pete Payne. Great Wall. Superb tunnel, good shed. Such a shame to see it getting damaged. A couple of slates put back when they came loose would have saved that end of the building. That is a very good point. A very, very good point, which we often think about with these things. Once the roof has gone, then the building's doomed, isn't it? But at some stage, all it would take would be just one tile or half a dozen tiles repositioned maybe, or replaced to keep it intact. And surely that increases the value for the owner, so I can't think why they don't do that. They just let it fall apart. Doesn't make any sense, mate. Jim again, from New Zealand. He says it's unfortunate you couldn't continue through the tunnel. He says it always amazes me how much infrastructure is getting covered over by vegetation and disappearing from view. Leave it to Mother Nature, she'll take it away. Amazing. She doesn't sleep, does she? She's going. And Jim says, I would have expected that either it would have all been removed or someone would take the trouble to maintain it in a more accessible state as part of the industrial history of the area. Good point, Jim. Money. It comes down to, no one's going to spend the money. Charles Patterson, right, okay. Charles says, I always enjoy the infrastructure built in support of the railway. Yeah, we do, don't we, on this channel? We love our bridges and aqueducts and viaducts. Yeah, viaducts. Sorry, I've been watching Paul's. We're getting on canals. No, not aqueducts, viaducts. And the stations and all the bits and pieces of the infrastructure. Yeah, we do enjoy it on this channel. Maybe we're coming home for lunch. Push off. So the question is, Charles says, if the building we explored was an engine or a wagon service building, what purpose did the derrick crane, based on the size of the foundation block and anchor bolts, serve? Well, of course Simon's put the cat among the pigeons now, hasn't he, really, with that, because now we reckon it could be a weighing machine. I suppose you might have a derrick for unloading stuff from a wagon and loading it into a railway wagon. I suppose you might. No. Weighing machine I'm going for there. Right. So there you are, Charles, unless somebody else comes up with something. West Country once again, Paul says, shame about the tunnel access. In my latest canal video I had a similar issue with a canal tunnel, but unlike mine you've got to see it properly. Yeah, I watched that film Paul's talking about there, when he goes hunting for a canal tunnel. I think there were 4 in the end, possible. One was infield, disappeared, and one was on private land. There was another one which was in amongst so much vegetation you couldn't get near it, and one he actually found partly covered up. But yeah, what a find that is, to find the entrance to the tunnel there, going back and disappearing slowly. Wonderful. Yeah, enjoyed that one, Paul. Right, now, film club then. Let's finally get down to film club. Excuse me if you've been waiting patiently, but we do enjoy our comments. Film club then. Now we're down in Wales, we're by us, so we might just pop along to Raglan Castle, mightn't we? It's only just down the road from here, so yeah, we'll do that. We'll pop along and have a look at Raglan Castle, and then next week's film will be in Stonehouse in Gloucestershire, halfway between Stroud and Gloucester. Well, kind of. That used to be the centre of activity once upon a time, the centre of industry there. They had a brickworks and a tile works, and it used to pump out lots of goods. Well, I don't know what happened there. It just kind of stopped for no good reason. But, never mind. So we'll tack this bit on the end then. Stonehouse is what we were talking about, which is next week's film. And Stonehouse was the centre of industry once upon a time. Had a huge brick and tile works, a massive quarry. Got to be something left in it to look at. So we'll pop down there next Friday. Meet you down there. Don't be late. Raglan Castle, a late Norman castle. So you won't get any Motte and Bailey here. Principal works carried out by William Herbert. Can you imagine what this might have been like in days of yore? There might well have been tents or something just there on that green. You might even have had jousting in here. That's where the nobility would have sat.